Turn on the torch, light up the flame. I'm burning some glass again. I'm here to say hello and I'm glad you're out there to see me. Uh, did a live feed last night with David. Well, I was supposed to do it with David Gruber, but it didn't happen. But I am doing a real quick live thing this morning just because I am checking out the new angle again. I put the camera back over my torch, and I also have a new lens sleeve that I can sort of pull off and put back on at will, which would be cool. And I also have a sunshade on it, so the glare isn't as bad. So, without further ado, I think I'll get to going and doing some glass, and I'll change the camera angle so that you can see where I. Oops, there I am. Right, right there. Now, um, let's just. Hi, camera. Nice to see that people are watching. That quick. Surprise, surprise. Oh, it's so early. It's early. Good morning. Yeah, well, I did sleep a little last night, but my normal waking hours are between 10 o'clock at night till 10 in the morning. So that's my normal waking hours, and it varies from then and there. It was my day off last night, and tonight is also a day off, and decided to do this new camera angle. I heard that you guys like that a little bit better than the old camera angle. And I again have that lens on it so that it will work out a little better. I'm doing right now, I have a piece of glass that I'm putting some dichro glass onto. And I'm going to add, let's see, got some jade green here. I'm going to add over the top of that. See how that works. I'm sorry that it's a little darker, but so that you can see a little bit more of what goes on inside the flame. And if you have a request that you'd like to see me do, Tamara, you know the deal. Just blurt it out and I'll see what I can do for you. And again, it's just a matter of getting her done. But right now I'm going to make a dichro strip, and I might even make it into a lizard because I can. You can see the things a little easier that way. Here we go. Let's keep heating and pressing. There we go. That's about right. Unless you'd like to see me make this little piece of green dichro glass into something in particular. I was thinking about making it into a lizard. There we go. Nipped it off from the top, put it onto the side. Now I'm going to melt all of that on so that you can see the sparkly glittery going on. Oh yeah. Got some nice dichro in this thing. You just never know, especially the small chunks that I have. Loads of flare from the other angle. Yeah, I know. And again, I also put a shade. Let me show you real quick. Whoa, and now I'm going to screw it all up. Yeah, that's me for you. It's a new type of sleeve that I have that I can put over and put back on top of real quick. That's what it looks like. All right, now it's going to make me out a liar, right? And it's not going to focus. Now it's doing okay. See, now that's a little bit more of the glare too. I put the shade over it like thus. And now the glare is even less. You'd be surprised. Actually, I'll show you. And you could make this type of sleeve to go over even like if you wanted to show your work, working at your torch. and get an idea what you're doing. If you have a spare didymium lens or welding shade or something, this is a pretty quick, no duct tape needed to put it on and off, as you saw. Here we go. Heating and stretching. That's one of the things you will learn how to do. You got to make sure you're flowing the glass as you do it, and that you're in control instead of it in control of you. That turned out nice and sparkly glittery. I don't know if you can see that, but I certainly can from my angle. So I'm going to, like I said, make a lizard out of this. Press. Just sort of pinch it in at that spot, and that gives it sort of the head to the lizard, or salamander, or whatever you want to make it into, or frog, or basically any reptile, a snake even, if you wanted to make it into a snake. But that it gives it that triangular or that diamond shaped type head. Who knew, right? Now, I'm going to just do some dark eyes. One there. One there. Yeah. I'm going to use this jade green that I've got is encased. I did encase that a while back, and it's basically where if I didn't do a video on encasing jade green, I will do or refer to like my green exotic, which is basically the same thing. I just layer the clear on top of it. Actually, I layer it on some clear and then layer some clear on top of that. And that, especially with it being such a strong opaque color, you stretch your color for less money. And I'm all into, but there are some times that you need to use that strong, undiluted color for something. That's the way life is. I know how that is. But 9 times out of 10, the size that I make these things, it looks okay. Next, again, basic lizard legs or salamander legs or whatever you want to call it are my basic L-shaped pattern where I pull it out, heat, and sort of bend it in the middle and pull it in an L pattern from there. Okay, I'm going to make that one a little bit shorter and this one a little bit shorter because I can. There we go. So where do you call home, Tamara? What part of the country, or what country are you in? I should ask. There we go. Now these legs are ready. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? And it won't take long for me. I forgot to put a loop underneath its chin. And that's so that you can make it into a pendant piece. And it being underneath the chin, if you wanted to have it for a sit-down piece, not many people would see the loop and it would still be okay. There we go. Now, I've used turbo cobalt on the feet, so I may as well continue with the rest of it. I mean on the eyes, and I'm going to go ahead and do that with the feet too. Black toes. Yeah, you could just say it's not lactose intolerant. Bad pun, I know. There we go. There's two. Another two. I like doing miniatures. I really do. You can learn how to make something and get the shapes down a whole lot easier without using as much flame as you would if you were trying to melt a whole bunch of glass and make a big, huge piece all at one time. In other words, make the mistakes on the smaller piece, learn your technique, and then just enlarge. And people ask me, how do you make it so small? And I said, it's the same way I make it big. I just put it in a smaller space, which is true. There we go. I found out my audio had gone to default, and that's why I sounded so far away, because it was over on my laptop microphone. Somehow it defaulted back over there. I'll have to check that setting every time. But it's not the first time, won't be the last, that I screw or have technical futilties. But as you learn, you grow. Right, right. There we are. Now, I usually do a straight shot first, and then once I get everything the way I like it, I bend my lizards. And you saw that I heated up the center of the body and just bent it in the direction that I wanted it to go in. Lots of time and practice, you'll get the hang of it. And I usually, once I do that, I heat up right around the neck, back and forth. You got to remember, you're heating up a three-dimensional object. You got to heat up top and bottom. And then I sort of bend the neck in the other direction. And that's sort of like it's really moving along and walking in a direction or whatever. Right, right. Okay. Now the tail. And again, I S-curve that in the opposite direction still. So again, that the body is S-curving around. You're heating it up slowly, and then you'll start to bend and keep curving. A little bit more. Heat and curve. There we go. I got to shorten that slightly. I always get a little bulbous on the end of those things. There we go. And you have one lizard pendant. Practice, 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 and more practice. Any request? You still there? Somebody's watching. Who knew, right? I can probably get in something. Let me see, what do I want to, oh yeah, I wanted to make the toes on this dragon. This is the dragon that I did last night. I wanted to make the toes just a little bit longer. They were stable, but just a little bit longer will make sure that it will not rock over just as you jar it a little bit. There you go. The other side's pretty much the length I want them. And here's the, let's take this off real quick. And I'll turn this off. Yeah, here's the jellyfish that I did last night. You see that? That was pretty cool. Oops, yeah, I'm still there. Oh yeah, that's looking pretty good from the video angle on TV. and you can see the dangling pieces and so on and so forth. And of course, we had the blind elephant because I didn't put eyes on it. But I think the very first elephant I didn't have eyes either. And then, of course, the other thing that I did last night was the penguin. Any requests, Tamara? It's up to you. If you have a request, just we have two Tamaras. No, we have Tobias and Tamara. Or is Tobias the only one in the room? Don't know. Find out. Anyone there? Somebody's there, but they can't. I didn't read that earlier. I thought it was Tamara speaking twice, and then I realized that now that I've read it, it says Tobias. I looked for Michello demos and couldn't find any. Really amazing how many colors you can get from silver and gold. Yes, it is, Tobias. It is, some of it is luck, some of it is skill, and a combination thereof, and also the heating element of how you heat it in your oven sometimes too. You just never know what it's actually going to accomplish, and no two are exactly ever alike. That's the coolest thing about glass. It is a substance that no matter what you do, it definitely comes out different every time. But that's the way life is anyway. What a day. I'm almost ready to go to bed, but I've still got a few things to do before I take my nap for the morning. But we'll get there. It's really amazing example of it, and the guy put it down to shot glass and patience. Yes, I've heard also that if you want to get some really nice colors out of clear glass, Cymax is the way to go. But there are people, and a lot of the colors, and well, mine are basic, but a lot of the colors that you can get out of the glass is oops, I'm sorry, I should put it back on the other camera. There we go. A lot of the colors that I have, wait, now I got to make sure I'm seeing what you're seeing. There we go. You only see a little bit of the color there. Let me see if I can put it behind white. You might pick up. No, that's not going to do it either for it. But that's some silver hues, light greens. And I've also done some where it comes out a lot stronger and a lot darker. But most of the ones I have come out in the silver range because I haven't done too much of the annealing in the oven yet because it's before I do things with it. After it gets in that, I also take some of the shards that I've fumed with that are on the ends and can no longer be fuming with. I take those and swirl it around in some glass and stretch. And in this one, you can't really see it that well, but there's, oh, of course, the light's in the way. Let me see if I can turn one of these off. No, still can't see it. But there's some definite greens and yellows to this, almost like amber purple before it turns purple. And I've stretched it, I layered some clear over it and swirled it around and stretched it out into a rod. And I can use that like I would any other piece. It's fun to play with. and you just never know what you can come up with the silver or the gold. Okay. Um, I will work on some fumicellos after a while, but not today. Any other requests before I head off into, I would say, La La Land? Cat, mouse, swan, bear, whale, snail. But colors are nice too. You just never know what you can come up with. This is some tubing that I've done where I made it a swirl pattern one way, blew it into a bubble, blew a hole here and a hole here, and stretched it out again. Sealed it back up and stretched it out, and then swirled it again. Nothing like some neat wigwag stuff going on. Psychedelic and all that sort of stuff. And again, you never get the same patterns twice. I've got so many different pieces of tubing that I've made up ahead of time. Even some like silver that I've worked into some pieces. And again, it gives us some nice swirl colors that has some green hues and some light blues, but nothing major. I have to admit the definition that you get in person compared to what you see on camera is a little bit different. Some green multi, yeah, that works. Dark background makes fume pops. Yep, that's true too. I will have to work on that. Maybe I'll do a thing where I put some like turbo cobalt or some nice dark colors behind it, and then make it in some tubing and silver it and see what happens. That might just be the thing to do. I appreciate the idea. Never hurts to have some collaboration going on. You know what I mean? Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and call it quits for the day. Well, not all day. I think I might even come back this evening after I've actually got a student that I'm teaching in Emerald Isle. It's going to be his first lesson with me. Last night I had my very first lesson with somebody else, and they were excited. They actually put a picture of what they melted on um, picture of what they melted on Melting Memories page, and tonight again it's feast or famine. This is the first time I really had some live um, students in the house or in their house. Tonight I'm going to his torch because he got the whole setup, and I want to help him set it up and work it in, and see if he can't melt some glass, um, and go from there. And it's exciting time for me. I mean, like I say, this is the first time I've had live students in a long while. I've had a few online, and you've seen those and the progression they've made. I can't wait to try in person and see how they get. So that's my story right now, and I'm sticking to it. So, without further ado, as always, enjoy your day. And as I've said many a time, well, I've started to say, where in the heck? No, that's not what I started to say. There we go. Carpe vitro.